All right, 2 Samuel 9, let's call this one Righteousness Can't Be Compelled, because in this chapter we are going to see David show us another face of thanksgiving. First of all, when he goes beyond simply understanding the significance of the details of the blessings that God is giving him, and as we saw in the last chapter, actually demonstrating his thanks in the way that he took the spoils of war and dedicated them to God. And now we're going to see how he's going to go beyond that to remember the helpless in terms of understanding as he has established Israel as a nation to be steeped in justice and righteousness. He is going to demonstrate that by remembering his covenant with Jonathan and trying to take care of one of his descendants by the name of Mephibosheth, a young man who during the flight from the Philistines and Saul's wars with the Philistines, became crippled as his caregiver tried to hurry and carry him to safety, but stumbled and injured the child, causing him to be lame in his feet. And now Mephibosheth is still alive, but he is under the care of a man by the name of Maker. However, David, in asking, is there anybody of Saul's house left that I can show kindness to? A man by the name of Ziba, however, is the one who has the insight. And so they're going to call Ziba to answer that question for David. And David is going to be eager to show kindness to Mephibosheth. Part of it's going to be Mephibosheth will be sitting at the king's table. David's going to plan to make sure that happens forever. But there are going to be some complications that we're going to see in later chapters. And a lot of that's going to have to do with the fact that Mephibosheth's care is not going to be left in the hands of Maker, but David is going to tell Ziba, a man who we're going to find out has a number of sons of his own and a number of servants of his own. And that's going to raise two important points regarding things that we would call hiring decisions. See, one of the things that the text doesn't tell us a whole lot about is Ziba's attitude toward the sacrifice that he is going to make. See, first and foremost, the way to understand whether a person is naturally inclined for the kind of role you would like to have them fill is, what are they already doing? Mephibosheth was already around. He was already in need of help. And even though Ziba seems to have significant resources, Mephibosheth was in the care of Maker. And so Ziba's resources might make him capable of taking care of Mephibosheth. But one of the important questions to answer is, how willing is he to actually take care of Mephibosheth? The second thing to notice is going to be, what are his ambitions? See, because now that Saul is gone, he's left to care for his household and his servants. And by the end of the chapter, we're going to see David is going to compel he and his entire household, sons and servants alike, are now going to be made the servants of Mephibosheth. And we're not going to see what that really means to Ziba until chapter 16. After David's lapse in judgment with both Bathsheba and Uriah, his son Absalom is eventually going to chase David out of the kingdom. And in his flight from Absalom, Ziba is going to make another appearance, bringing a gift to David, but also bringing a word that's going to seem to be somewhat deceptive, saying that Mephibosheth said, now I'm finally going to get what's mine. All that I lost when Saul died, I'm going to get back under Absalom. But by the time we get to chapter 19, it's not going to seem like that's Mephibosheth's actual sentiment, because chapter 19 is going to describe his appearance as being one who was in mourning from the time that David left. And so David's going to kind of split the baby in half, and he's going to give them both a share of Saul's territory. But understand how even though David had compelled Ziba to care for Mephibosheth, it's going to seem that Ziba's ambitions were to look out for Ziba all along. Which reminded me of insight I got a while back regarding positions of leadership in the church. Someone gave me what seemed to be wise counsel when they said, look, people you're appointing for elders and deacons are at their best when you're simply giving them a title for a job they're already doing willingly. And when you are making choices regarding people to whom you can reliably delegate responsibility, a lot of it has to do with beyond their ability and competence to get a job done. How willingly are they already engaged in the nuts and bolts responsibilities of the title that you'd like to see them elevated into? And so in missing that in Ziba, David put Mephibosheth into the care of a man who was capable of being his servant, but wasn't really willing. So, as we often say, God's best to you as you go forward in him. God willing, surrounding yourself with people who are not simply capable of helping you, but are actually willing to help you righteously.